Alrighty, I am live. Beautiful day out here. Joe Harvey, welcome. Welcome, welcome, man. It is Saturday. I don't even know the date. Is it the 15th today? July 15th? I am smoking, God, I don't even know what the hell this is. A J Fuego or something? Origin. I got 20 of these for cheap, so yeah, it's the 15th. All right, very good. Excellent. Well, I just ate my one meal today, and I have a gig tonight down in Plymouth. I ended up watching that movie that Matt and Joe told me to watch. Well, Joe told us to watch, and then Matt watched it, and I didn't like it. It's called Grave Encounters, and I just did not dig it. It didn't have an entertainment value for me, and I thought a lot of it was like jump scares, which I don't. I'm not big on jump scares, where it's like all of a sudden something jumps out at the camera. I'm like, it's boring to me. So I didn't like the movie, but whatever. All is good. I thought about breaking out the Marshall again today, but again, it's too humid. But I really got some cool, good sounds out of it. I can get it a lot cleaner than I thought I could, and I really like that the JCM 900, the Master Volume Mark III, better than the SLX. I know people always like to bring up the SLX. I don't like it. Yeah, I'm playing later tonight. Yeah, I have a gig at it's 9 o'clock to midnight, so I leave my house here around 7 to go to it, and by 8 o'clock I'm there setting up. Yeah, I like to do it in a relaxed manner. I don't like to get there last minute and rush to set up. It's easy to do it this way. Have a cup of coffee, and then we go. It'll be fun. Next Saturday, I'm playing that barbecue that's going to be up in New Hampshire. It's in North New Hampshire. And that's going to be Jim and I with Emily. They like to hire the three of us. Hey, all right, Hugh, good. You have a gig in 2 hours. It's awesome. So we're going to film that one next week. Next Saturday, I'll be filming this birthday party for Billy up in New Hampshire. And it'll be good. It'll be tobacco. Be like 3 hours, 4 hours long. And I figured we'd walk around with the camera and talk to people too during it. It should be fun. I sent, well, I called Krellbot today and asked him if he wanted to go. I thought he would dig it. And it'll be fun. We did it last year. We've done it the last 5 years. I filmed it last year. Um, so it'll be good. And if anyone's in the Massachusetts, New Hampshire area and you want to go, shoot me an email. If I know you from the show, from any of my, whatever, I'll throw you the address. They're always welcome to having people come by. It's a fun place, and you get to see Jim, Emily, and I perform. So if you're in the area, shoot me an email and I'll shoot you the address. Again, if I don't shoot you the address, it's because I don't want you to go. But like I said, if I know you, like Rich, if you're watching, feel free to message me for it. I mean, if you got nothing to do next Saturday, it'll be a fun time. We have a lot of fun. And yeah, where in Long Island are you? I haven't been to Long Island in a long time. East End. I had a buddy from Massapequa and another one from New Hyde Park. towards Riverhead. Oh, okay. Cigar's a full body cigar. I'm actually enjoying it. Nice flavor, cheap price. Can't beat it. So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be a fun time. That's for sure. Um, so the next time I'll be live will be next Wednesday. You hear they got that serial killer out here? No, I didn't hear about it. So so the next show live will be the DL show live on Wednesday, and then following that will be next Saturday. We'll be at this. We'll be for AM Station live, and like I said, it'll be a fun time. I don't know how much camera time I'll be doing off when we're off and whatnot because they will have food and food that I can't eat. Um, but people always ask me when I go to barbecues, "You gonna go off your diet?" No, absolutely not. I just don't think of it. It's not about that. I have no interest in food that's off my diet. Um, just doesn't interest me. I'm feeling the best I felt in a long time, fitness wise and health wise. There's no way. So, on that note, what else is going on there in the chat? I'm trying to think what else I have going on. Not too much today. Today's my lazy day. Every other Saturday I teach. Actually, this was supposed to be the Saturday I teach. But the kid's dad came down with COVID and he was like, "Can we just do it in 2 weeks?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's all good to me. All good." I was watching a live, I think it was the other day. It was Josh Scott's. Uh, he was talking about his red crayon, whatever the hell that thing is called, and then the color box. I hate the sound of that pedal. I mean, I get it that some people like it and he loves that sound, but I hate that sound. That is not a sound for me. But Joe's been messing with his bass six, and that's a real fun instrument to play. Um, I think there's a couple of guitars to get if you're interested in really spreading the creativity. Like a B bender's really cool because it can do things that you can't do. I always like anything with a Bigsby. Um, Not so much into Floyd Rose, although Floyd Rose to me is like a standard, you know what I mean? But it's like the sound of a dive bomb, I'm done with. I don't need to hear a dive bomb again. So, but it's just really cool to be able to pick up an instrument that makes you want to create and do something that might be outside of what you're used to or what's comfortable. And it forces you to play things that you might not otherwise play, which I think is a good thing sometimes. You know? Yeah, the bass six is cool because, well, I mean, there's just a lot of things you can do, and it's nice to hear some of those chords low. And, it plays like a guitar, and yet it's a bass, and it's fun. It's got a really cool sound. But yeah, I mean, I always tell people the best thing you can do for your playing is practice. Practice, practice, practice. They say if you like, It's the same thing with everything, with diet, with working out. Everything is consistency. You just keep doing it consistent. Oh, is it $40 to restring? I don't know what those strings cost. But it's just a lot of diet and consistency. Yeah, I don't, those Music Man necks are really tiny, Hugh. I can't even put my hand on it is like, I feel like I can, with my finger, bar down 3 frets without even trying. It's just, I don't dig it. I like a wider neck. But, you know, they say if you do it with consistency, even if you take like 15 minutes a day of practicing over the course of a month, it comes out to be quite a bit, you know? And all it is 15 minutes a day. It's consistency. You know, people are always looking for the quick fix. I did this and it didn't work out. You got to just keep doing it. I'm a big believer in Mike Menser, heavy duty. I like Mike. Um, when I knew Mike back in the '97, I always thought he was crazy, but in a good way. But yeah, I hear you, Hugh. But Mike Mensa was the kind of guy that said get in the gym, work out for 15 minutes, and then take 2 days off, and then do it all over again. And it's the consistency of doing it which will get you in shape. And I tell anybody, I can get anybody in shape. Give me 2 days a week into the gym, and let me control your diet, and I'll get you in the sickest shape of your life. But you know, I made a meme today, well, a reel today. Hey, Charlie, I made a reel today on well, Facebook and Instagram. But basically, it said, listen, you have two choices of pain. You can choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. I prefer the pain of discipline. I don't think it's that painful, but it is what it is. So, you know, people say to me all the time, how can you not eat this anymore? Because I don't give a shit. You know what it's like? It's like imagine if if you had to raise a plant, right? Let's say it was for a class or just in life itself. You're into plants and you started raising this plant in your house. And then somebody comes over and they show you their plant, and their plant is sickly looking. It just looks terrible. It's not growing right. It looks like it's on its deathbed. And they tell you they're feeding it Gatorade instead of water, like Idiocracy. They're feeding it Gatorade. They're putting things in it that don't belong in the soil, and basically they're killing it. You know, and you could say, well, the plant really wants the Gatorade. It loves the flavor, but it's killing it. And so that's how I look at it when I look around. And I went to a barbecue last week, and I look around, just people on the street. All I see is people holding sickly plants, and people holding a sickly plant and saying to me, "How can you not eat pizza ever again?" I'm like, "Well, I just look at you, and I say I'm not eating pizza ever again because you look sickly, and I'm not interested." And it's sad, and you know, you could say that sounds bad or that sounds condescending. Fuck you, I don't care. It's how I see it. I see people. I see the bloat. It looks sick. It looks like you're holding a sickly plant. And I mean, that's a great parallel to it, because it's like, so you're going to tell me, oh yeah, well, the science shows that this sickly plant is actually the better plant. Okay, you keep telling yourself that. I'm gonna take care of my plant the way I want my plant to look. You know, and it looks healthy. I'm feeding it water and nutrients that go in the soil, that belong in the soil, that the plant can actually absorb. So that's a way to look at it. And I'm with you, Hugh. I don't miss any of the things I don't eat anymore. Somebody asked me at the barbecue last week why I don't drink. I said, because I like myself. I don't need to drink. What am I hiding from? What am I running from? Nothing. I don't need that feeling. I like myself. And I don't want, and it's poison to the body. So what am I going to do with it? You know, it's like, so these are things that I think about. So when someone says to me they can't wrap their head around it, and it goes the same, I mean, this isn't just about diet, nutrition. It's not about just working out. It's everything you do. When you play music, are you just sitting there playing, or are you learning anything? Are you teaching yourself something? You know? If you're spending an hour playing just shit you want to play, spend 10 minutes a day trying to learn something new on the instrument, trying to learn either a new cerebral part, whether it be theory or whether you're trying to learn a new technique, anything, 10 minutes. With consistency, after the course of a week, that's 70 minutes, 140, 280, whatever you probably end up at 300 at the end of the month, right? Because it's 31 days, not 28. And yeah, anything you learn with consistency will make you improve. You'll be a better player a month from when you start doing it. And then with consistency, you just keep doing it. It's a discipline, you know? And a lot of people on YouTube, they don't want discipline. They just want people to tell them how good they are. Look at me, I can play this, I'm good. Okay, good for you. Or I'll teach a song and someone will tell me I called the chord something wrong. And I'm like, well, first of all, there's 9 different ways to call this chord, but when I hear it, this is how I hear it. And so that's why I tell people how I see it. If you want to call that chord something different to yourself, go right ahead. But you don't need to tell me. I'm not interested in nonsense of trolling and all that stuff. There's a lot of trolls. A lot, you know. One thing I learned, you're always going to look one way and you'll see people who are better than you at what you do. And you look another way and you'll see people who wish they were you. That's it. And so don't knock where you are, just figure it out and put the discipline in and go to work, you know? And the same thing when it comes to like food, people sit and tell me, oh, you're crazy, you need vegetables. Oh, I do? Well, I'm 8 months without them and I feel the best I've ever felt in my life. And before 4,000 years ago, we didn't have it in the diet. So why do I need it? Has no essential amino acids, has no essential fatty acids. I don't need it. There's nothing essential in them. You want them. You want to supplement your diet. You think you're getting nutrients. I don't. And the proof is look at your plant. Your plant looks like shit. So, and you're telling me what? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's true too. Yeah. I mean, it's just insane. Like I said, I just tell you what works for me, and you can go live your own life and do whatever you want. Yeah. Yeah, I don't miss them either. But the thing is people who will sit there and down talk it or say like I'm crazy or whatever, and they say, I could never do that. Well, you have no discipline. But just imagine if your plant could speak, saying, I want Gatorade instead of water, and you're killing your plant. You're killing yourself. I don't care. Go ahead, do whatever you want. I can't talk sense into people. All I can tell you is everybody who's followed me on the diet, which is now about 100 people, but personally, me monitoring about 6 or 7, every one of them says they feel unbelievable, that all their aches and pains are gone. One guy, his type 2 diabetes is now in the area of pre-diabetes. I mean, I'm going to get him off all his meds. And medicine's a fucked up thing. All they teach is, this is your symptom, this is what we have to give you. They don't try to figure out what's causing it, you know? And it would be like if you brought a pedal board to me and you were having problems. You had this sound that was coming through, this staticky sound through your pedal board. And so you bought a decimator. The decimator is to reduce the sound. So now you have whatever the problem is going on in your pedal board, that problem is still in your pedal board, but now you have a decimator that's going to squash it, or at least try to thin it out or reduce it as much as possible. Whereas it would take me about 5 minutes to go through each pedal and figure out what the issue is. and you may have a problem with one of your pedals. And once we fix that, you don't need a decimator. Your board's running perfect. So it all depends on how you like to do it. You want to throw a Band-Aid on a reoccurring cut that keeps coming, or stop cutting yourself. Um, so here goes my sister. She just came to drop some stuff off. But anyways, that's where you're at, where it's at. I've got to tell you, I've been enjoying this guy who has a channel. His name is Hollow, and he watches all these haunted video games. And I'm like, man, I don't know why I'm watching these. Let me see how many subs he has. He had 4 million subs. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. But it's a fun channel to watch this guy play these haunted games. I don't have any interest in playing video games, but for some reason I enjoy watching these guys play who have like funny reactions. And I've been loving Dr. Disrespect. I think his channel's hilarious. I love the character that he is, and it's excellent. It's very funny. It's, in my opinion, it's very Phil Hendry-esque. And if you know who Phil Hendry is, yeah, exactly, Hugh. And that's, oh, Joe, you're great. Yeah, the doctor's great, Joe Harave. Yeah. He's so good. They're like, nice kill. Of course it was. I'm the two-time. I'm the two-time champ. I'll have to check it out, Joe. Yeah, I love him. He's funny as fuck. I could sit and watch him all. He's done 6-hour streams where I sat and watched probably 4 hours of it, of him playing PUBG, and just hysterical. 93, 95. Exactly. 93, 94 blockbuster champ. 6'8" with a 37-foot vertical leap. He's gold. The guy is gold. Really super funny. I mean, that's my favorite character right now on YouTube. I'd watch him and Hollow before I start watching any of the music stuff. You know, the music stuff is good. After a while, I honestly, I love Mick and Dan, but I can't watch them anymore. No, I'm not a champion member. I just started watching him. I saw him when he had the 9-year-old come on, and he had the champion club go in and follow this guy. Oh, no, I didn't know he got a guitar. Oh, that's funny. I assume he's in like the Santa Monica area. He looks familiar. When I seen him outside of his makeup, I'm outside of the wig and the glasses. I'm like, man, that dude looks familiar. I wouldn't be surprised if, what the hell was that? This fucking bug the size of a frog just landed on my leg. Yeah, he's great. But I would be surprised if he was a member of Gold's back in the day when I went. He looks so familiar. But very funny. Yeah. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, I know he's from San Francisco, and I know he was in the Bay Area, but I thought he came down to LA. I think isn't he in LA now? I thought he was working for the video companies back in LA, but I could be wrong. I thought that's where he was. He's super funny. Joe, that's so cool. I mentioned him the other night, Joe. Nobody knew who the hell he was. I was like, are you guys kidding me? It's gold. Gold, I tell you. Joe, have you watched that guy, Hollow? He basically plays haunted games, psychological thriller games. He's fun to watch, too. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I brought him up a few times. It was to crickets. Nobody knew what the hell I was talking about, Joe. They all thought I was crazy. I'm like, this guy's making more money. Hey, Squire, this guy's making more money in a live. His live streams, people are donating like crazy. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, Tim the Tap Man, I find him annoying. For a guy, like they were arguing about weightlifting and he's talking about standing shoulder presses with 130. Not any of his numbers are impressive. In fact, I would say anybody who I would train in about 3 months would be doing numbers bigger than his. So Tim the Tapman bugs me in that respect that he just thinks like, and even Doc I think called him out on. He says I warm up with 135, and he was like, no, no, and he's like, well, I'm doing them standing. Well, what the difference is you're using your core, and instead of hitting your shoulder direct. Yeah, well, but they all can take a good rag, which I enjoy that they all like ragging on each other, and it's fun, because Doc isn't even serious. Like he's in character, and those guys are themselves. So I find that really funny that Doc is like, because you'll see, I see him start laughing to himself when he's busting balls because he's busting balls as Doc. Oh yeah, totally. And Doc's always flexing the arm. He's always like, like making the arm for Tim. Oh, excellent, Squire. Yeah, surfing's great. Yeah, Doc is super funny. Like I said, I totally a character. It's very. I don't know if you guys are not familiar with who Phil Hendry is, and I really don't think Phil's been that great over the past 10 years. But 10 years ago, Phil Hendry was the funniest bastard on the planet. He had a a radio show on KFI in LA, and he would have all these different people on his show, and people in the audience would get all whacked out and upset about them because they'd be politically incorrect, but they didn't realize that Phil was the guy doing the voice of the guest. So it's hysterical stuff. If you can actually go to his website and listen to the old ones, like from 2005, 2006, he's on fire. Phil Hendry, Hendrie. I believe he's got a website, philhendry.com. But if you can go back and listen to those old shows, hilarious. Yeah, he's so good. I love Hendry. Yeah, no, he's great. Like I said, Doc is great. Yeah, Squire, he's excellent. But I feel like Doctor Disrespect, in a lot of ways, is doing like a one character, and it's very Hendry-esque the way he talks and the way he's. It's very self-centered but funny, and it's done in tongue-in-cheek, and it's done to be annoying, but at the same time, because he's doing it to be annoying, it's funny as hell. It's just gotta get to dress. Yeah, right. Gold. 6'5", I think. He claims he's 6'3" now, but yeah, he's somewhere around. I think he was 6'5", but now he claims he's 6'3". Still tall. Matt and I have a good friend that used to work with Matt at Gold's Gym. I was a member then, but I wasn't working there. And we call him Big Tom, and he's 6'8". He's a huge dude. 6'8's big. But yeah. It's a great channel. Dr. Disrespect. I love it. Hilarious. And like I said, those Hollow games are pretty fun. Other than that, some of the music stuff I can't even deal anymore. Oh yeah, Matt's great. Matt's great. So Matt came, well, I think he might have been in LA at the same time I was, but he wasn't at Gold. I was in Gold's from 97 to 98. I think Matt was either a year or two later when he started working there. And then Matt bounced at a bar that literally was at the bottom of my hill, 2 blocks away. I used to see him like if it was a weekend night, I'd see him every night because I'd always walk down to Main Street and Matt was there, and I would stand up front and talk to Matt and Jesse and all the other and Guy, all the guys out there, and good dudes. And Matt used to come out to my gigs. I believe him and Tom came out to one of the first gigs by the Big Angry, and that would have been around 2001 or 2. And that's when he might have been working there. But yeah, he's come out to the, hey Ben Tom, he's come out to the Big Angry shows quite a bit, Matt. And Matt's a really good player. Um, yeah. Trying to remember his amp. He told me I played his amp, but I'm trying to remember where he, oh yeah, okay. Trying to remember the apartment he lived in. I think he was living up by Barrington, that area. But yeah, there was a lot of shenanigans. That gym was hilarious, just with all the people there and the hilarity that was there. Because it's like a neighborhood gym. Everybody knew everybody, but there was a lot of celebrities mixed in. And they just knew everybody and hung out too. It was like, wasn't like anything. But there was, of course, some characters and some events. Yeah, Krell's tall. Yeah. Lately, I've been watching a lot of Instagram Reels. There's 2 pages that post all these Mike Menser quotes and everything, and I liked Mike. Mike used to be a trainer at the gym when I first started going there, and he believes less is more. He's all anti overtraining, and he trained Dorian for a little bit. So, but he was great, and really like I have people that come up to me actually this woman came up to me in the gym on Friday, and she's like, it's so funny, you look around the gym and there's not many changes. You see the same people every day for an hour at a time, 2 hours at a time, and their body never changes, and they're in the gym for them in the gym for 5 or 10 years. She's like, you came into the gym, you were heavy. Oh, is he? Yeah, Philly, yeah. And she was like, you came into the gym, you told me when I met you, and she's an older woman, she's like, because she used to do cardio next to me. She goes, you told me when I met you, that you were going to get in incredible shape and lean out. And she was like, I was just like, yeah, whatever. And she said to me, yes, on Friday, she was like, but you fucking did it. She's like, you don't even look like the same person. She's like, and when I see you in the gym, I'm like, who's that? And I'm like, oh my God, he lost a lot. And it's all about consistency and focus and discipline. you know, and I mean, I feel 20 years younger. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I feel so much younger. You know, my waist is like a 30, 31 in between there. 31s are always a little big on me. I have to wear a belt. 30s, I have a hard time getting my legs in the pants. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm 5'8" too. I'm also 5'8". I weigh a buck 85 right now. Yeah, 30, 31 waist. Yeah, I couldn't get my waist down that low because I'm basically down to like the hip bone and everything. Um, but yeah, I'm like 180 to 185 depending on the day. Yeah, I just wear the size up. I just wear 31s and I'll just put a belt on with it. Um, but yeah, and it's funny because I'll tell people when I see them, thanks, Tom. Thanks. Yeah, I'll tell people when I see them if they ask me to work on their diet for them, or if they're interested in the diet, and they ask me, like I have a guy on last Saturday, him and his wife. He asked me if I could get him under 200 pounds. Now this guy's 5'9", he weighed 207. I said under 200 pounds. You're going to pass 170 before you know it. He wouldn't believe me, and I'm like, you have no idea. People have no idea how much visceral fat they have on them and how much that weighs. And really, like I used to have a lot because uh, my stomach used to jet out. Like it was lean, but it was sticking out. Now that's all gone. Like it's just all the visceral fat is gone. That goes really fast on carnivore. It's like one of the first. Once your body goes into ketosis and starts burning fat, um, it gets rid of it. You know, and oh, excellent, Tom. Excellent. Yeah. It's the proper human diet, man. It's the proper human diet. And the funny thing is like people don't realize, like, because they think like, oh, you're so disciplined and working hard. Well, I am disciplined and I do work hard in the gym, but I'm not spending a lot of time in the gym. I spend 15 minutes doing exercises. Actually, let's just say this. I spend 20 minutes doing an exercise. 2 days out of the week, I spend 20 minutes doing sprints. And then that's my time in the gym. The discipline is knowing what my diet is and following it, and your body just responds. So when you do carnivore, your body just drops the weight. It's like your body goes to the weight that it naturally should be. And it's like I said, when you take care of a plant and you put nutrients in the water and you feed it just water, your plant will grow. And absolutely, Tom, you get to know it really right away. And so funny because people say to me, like, you'll never eat pizza again? You'll never have those orange cupcakes again? Fuck no. Absolutely not. It's poison. And you have no idea how fucking amazing I feel. You have no idea how great it feels to put your head down on the pillow and say, you know what? I watched TV for 10 minutes. I'm going to just close my eyes and fall asleep. And you close your eyes and fall asleep. It's amazing. And then you wake up, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, doesn't matter. You wake up, you have no pains, and you feel like you don't need any coffee. I like to drink coffee for other effects that the coffee gives, but you don't need it. I wake up, I'm wide awake. And also the other thing is your body doesn't stink. You wake up and you don't feel that morning malaise of like, oh my God, I gotta go shower. You don't have that feeling. I'll wake up, I'll go downstairs. Sometimes I'll go to the gym first and then I'll come home and shower. But for the most part, you don't feel like that disgusting feeling. And I gotta be honest with you folks, and this might be a little hard on the ears, your shit doesn't stink. When you go to the bathroom, it doesn't stink. All that poison is out of your system and you feel like I used to tell people I can't watch Game of Thrones because I don't know who's getting a decent wipe. You know what I mean? It's like they must all smell like shit. But now I'm like, I get it. If this was back in the 1500s or wherever the time was, they're not eating food to make themselves stink. They don't stink. They stink now. If you're standing next to a vegan when he farts, you're going to want to fucking take your own life. That's how bad it is. If a guy farts next to you who's a carnivore, you're not going to know it unless it's a loud one, but it's not going to choke you out. It doesn't stink. It's amazing when you eat the proper human diet, you're eating food that's nutritious and that's nutrient dense, that your body just absorbs it all and just fucking dumps the weight. So that's something else that I've noticed with carnivore. No aches and pains. You feel awake, alert. I eat one meal a day. I'm never hungry. Now, I do eat about 3,000 calories because I am trying to eat enough protein, but even then, I'm not eating that much. So today I had five slices of bacon. I had 3 eggs sunny side up, and then 2 burgers fried in bacon fat with Havarti cheese. Then I had a fat-free cheesecake, and then I had half a glass of diet cream soda with heavy cream. Heavy cream filled up the other half. So I'm eating enough fat because that's just pure fat. Yeah. Oh, you did, Tom. That's awesome. Because they'll feel it. I mean, you feel it. It's an amazing feeling. And it's also amazing how much when your body goes into the ketosis, which takes about, I want to say it takes like 3 days when you start carnivore. Sometimes it could take up to a week when your body just flips the switch on you. And when your body flips the switch, your brain and everything, you lose all brain fog. And you just feel amazing. And you feel it. Like you get like a certain mental clarity where you're like, oh, something's happening here. This is good. You know? And you don't get that eating sugar or shit. Like I said, when I went to that barbecue last week, I had mental clarity. Yes, absolutely. I went to a party. This kid walks up to me, he goes, dude, how old are you? And I told him, and he looked like he was shocked. He was 2 years older than me. And he probably looked 12 years older than me, but he was just like, what the fuck? The first thing he says, I bet you don't drink. I'm like, I don't. And he's like, oh yeah, that's why you look so young. I'm like, not really. It's everything. And Hugh's new to this, and he could tell you, you don't miss it. You feel better off of it. Your body heals. You know, it takes time. You know, I always tell people, look, if you could do it for 30 days, you could do it for 60. You could do it for 90. After 90, you can decide what you want to do. But I think it takes that long to heal your body as far as like healing some of the issues with it. Yeah, I never drink. It was never really my thing. In my younger days, yeah, but probably it's one of those things I could take or leave. It doesn't matter to me, and I don't like that feeling of not being me, and I like feeling normal. I like that feeling better. I don't really. Yeah, 90 days is really, so I always tell people, let's do it for 30 days. Let's try 30 days. And if you don't have the discipline for 30 days, well, you're wasting my time. Because you have to have the discipline. And it's something you have to want. Like, I forget who it was. I saw a meme recently, and it was like, motivation. Fuck your motivation. Oh, it was Joe Rogan. Fuck your motivation. Motivation everyone can have. Everyone can start with motivation for the first day. Then you got to have the discipline. And the discipline, and then like people say, oh, you're not going to do this, or you never cheat, you know, do that. And I'm like, what am I cheating on? Myself? Why would I cheat? Yeah, I'm not fooling my body by putting toxic shit in it. And also, if you look at like the cancer rate, like now they came out and they said aspartame causes cancer. That's the new thing, right? Aspartame causes cancer. Well, let's take a look. When aspartame came out in 1982, and it went from 0 to 1 billion people drinking it, did cancer jump up by that? No, it didn't. So therefore, it can't do what you're saying it did, or it would have done it. It's the old thing. If If it was, it would, but it's not. It's not raising the cancer level to a crazy height in 1982, and you can follow it. But you know what you can follow with the rates of cancer? You can follow the rates of seed oils being into the diet. You can follow obesity with the seed oils being in the diet. Yeah. Hugh, and it's great. Oh, totally. Totally lying. All you have to look at is where was seed oils, and then look at what seed oils when it came into the diet, and as it increased, obesity increased, type 2 diabetes, which never existed, increased. All these things came out, and then they sit there and tell you that sugar is bad. I get news for you. If you do 90 days of carnivore and you want to bring sugar back into your diet, you'd be healthy as a fucking ox. Sugar is not, it's not the poison for your body. You have to clear your body, clean your body, and then it's basically getting the oil and all that toxin. It's all oils. It's omega-6. That's what's the poison. But in the beginning, when you start carnivore, you got to cut it all out. Hey now, Eric Johnson, welcome. Yeah, the medical field is so corrupt and bullshit anyways. It's like, they keep lowering the number of cholesterol. I want high cholesterol. High cholesterol means that I have high LDL, which is lipoproteins, which feeds the brain. It also works with white blood cells attacking viruses. You're in a much healthier spot. And they just have this hypothesis, but they've never done a causation study. Every study they've done is correlative. And I mean, correlative studies to me make no sense. And when I watch two separate cardiologist surgeons talk about that, they think high cholesterol is actually beneficial to the body, but they go against conventional fucking medicine, I'm with them. I don't think putting a fucking inflammatory to the liver statin pill in your body is doing anything. Absolutely, Hugh. So, Hugh, you've cut out all oil. Oh, did I tell you that, Hugh, in the beginning? Cut out all the oils? Yeah, the LDL high is good. Fights disease, it's good for your brain. And then you wonder why fucking, when you go to the doctor, what's the, excellent, Hugh. Yeah, because it saves your life. Look at when you go to a doctor, what is the main thing they're asking you now in the questionnaire when you go to, because I just went and had my checkup the other day. There was 90 questions about depression. I'm like, no, 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 no. Everything is about depression. Why is everyone so depressed? Well, you got them on statins. You're trying to get their cholesterol low, which is bad for their brain health and for their well-being. And the diet that you've been telling everybody to get on, the American diet, is making everybody is feeding the brain with sugar and not with fat. And the brain is made up mostly of fat and wants fat. It doesn't want sugar. Yeah, it's totally. And you want to talk about depression? You get depression? Start eating high fat and get the fuck off the oils. The oils are poison and they're killing you. The oils are poison for multiple reasons, besides the fact of high omega-6. Hexane solvents are in them to clean them. To make them edible, you have to poison the human body. And like I said, you may as well feed your plants Gatorade and watch how they grow. That's what you're doing to your body. That's excellent, Tom. Thank you for being here, Tom. That's true. You awesome. Absolutely. People have no idea. Most, and when I say most, 99% of the shit, the problems that we have in this country with health is metabolic. It's from foods that we're eating. So, on that note, it's like, you know, don't you want to cheat? No. No, I have no interest. Zero. Zero. And also just the way the food, when you just eat it with like salt, you take a burger that's got like 25%, not 25, 15%, yeah, 25% fat and 75% lean, and you cook that up with salt and bacon fat. It is so effing delicious. Your body knows the minute you're eating it. You're like, this is good. This is good. And it satiates you when you don't eat. I won't eat till tomorrow around, probably like around this time is when I'll eat tomorrow. And I won't even be hungry. I'll eat because it's time to eat, but I won't be like starving. I'm not losing my mind. I'm full all the way till tomorrow. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, I'll have a coffee and a cigar and I'll come sit out here. And I feel great. I'm not hungry. I just feel fucking fantastic. And I'm alert as piss. Yeah, I never get hungry. Yeah. Yeah, I had a friend come over the other day and he wants to get on the diet. So we were talking and he was like, what if I want a snack? And I said, it's so funny because people who do this diet for 30 days already, they stop asking snacking questions because they're not going to snack. You don't realize that you don't get hungry. But people that just started are always concerned about, what if I want a snack? And a lot of it has to do with being mouth hungry. And mouth hungry goes away too. Because they're not stomach hungry, they're mouth hungry. They just want to be. And so I showed them you can eat pork rinds and just dip it in butter. And so he tried that. He was flipping out like, oh my God, this exists? And I said, yeah. I said, and in the beginning, you may do it the first week or two, but after that, you're not going to reach for them because you're just not going to be hungry. Yeah, I call it mouth hungry, the habit of constantly needing to chew on something. It's almost like a nervous energy. And that goes away. I think for me, it went away. It could have taken 2 months. For me, it was like 2 months because I was snacking at night and stuff on carnivore stuff. But once I decided I was going to cut out breakfast, I went to no more snacking. You know, um, yeah. And and you know, as much as I talk about it, and people are like, why do you always talk about it? It's like if you had shown something that was, you know, like people who learn something new on the guitar, they go on YouTube and they have channels and they're like, oh my God, I got to show you this. I just figured this out that if you plug this in backwards, you can get the albatross sound of echoes and it's like one of those things. Yeah, I make cheesecake. I do. I have a carnivore cheesecake. I have a slice after every meal just to have a little bit of something sweet, tiny piece, all fat, no sugar. And I make it with pure aspartame. But the thing is, as good as I feel, I want other people to know that they can feel good too. And you know, people over time have reached out to me. Hugh reached out to me, um, and you feel so great that you want to share it with people and say, listen, I figured it out. I I know what is causing. I mean, you guys saw how fat I got. That was the fattest I ever got. And you know, for a while when I was because I bodybuilt and ate like a fucking horse. Oh, thanks, Tom. You know, and I ate like a horse. I would always go up and down in my weight. I'd go from 195 to 215, never really more than 220. And now it's like my weight went down to 177. And then I noticed I started putting muscle back on. And I got up. Now I'm like, honestly, I probably weigh 182. When I wear clothes, I weigh a little under 185, like 184.8 if I'm dressed. Uh, yeah. Yeah, some people they don't want to hear it. And again, those people are holding a wilted plant telling you they know more than you do when you have the most beautiful plant that is growing and that looks healthy. And they'll be holding an unhealthy plant telling you that you're crazy. Oh, thanks, Everett. And people do that all the time. They'll sit there and say to you, "Oh, you're crazy." Well, you're sickly. So you don't believe it because you're being told by these people and you can't see it because you aren't in it. And anybody who tries carnivore, like there are some people that have tried it and they don't like it. And they're like, there's not enough variety in food. They don't get it. It's about discipline. It's about saying that's not important to you. Your health is important to you. If your variety of what you're eating is important to your life, then you've now are living to eat instead of eating to live. And living to eat is a sad, depressing existence. And you can take a look around at all the people who live to eat, they don't look good. Exactly. And the truth of the matter is, I like the food better on carnivore. I like this way of eating. I mean, did I love a burger on a bun? Yeah, I did. I did. But knowing now what the bun does to my system, I am more than happy to throw it away. Yeah. So, yeah, you become accustomed to it, because your body gets that satiating. Your body thanks you. I'm telling you, it's like you start eating this way, and your body is like, yeah, I don't miss the bun either. Like I said, I don't miss it, and it's like people are like, oh, you're never gonna have pizza. You're never gonna have uh, a French dip sandwich. No, it's poison. I don't want it. It doesn't matter how good it tastes. I remember how it tastes. And a lot of times, if you think about it, if you think about how good something used to taste, you can remember that taste. Then when you go back to eat it, you're like, oh, this is good. Is it better than the actual memory you had of the taste? Personally, I don't think so. And secondly, no, because it's poisoning you. But, like I said, I'll eat burgers, I'll eat bacon all day. Somebody flipped out the other day when I told them every meal I eat bacon. They're like, "Oh, that your arteries must be clogged." And I'm like, "Well, you have a child's understanding of how fats work in the body. You've been taught this from people, and let's take a look at people who don't eat bacon every day. Now, you could show me someone who's fat that eats bacon every day, but they're eating garbage, and that's the garbage is making them do it, not the bacon." Yeah, it's very true. You know, it's very true. I have a buddy of mine. He's in New Hampshire. He hasn't even started working out yet, and he's down over. I think he's down 70 pounds. 70 fucking pounds in 5 months. Find the cause and treat it. Hugh, you're making me proud, man. Making me proud. Absolutely. You start to realize the foods that you're eating are poison. And it's not just about feeling good. It's not just about feeling good in the body. Your brain wakes up and you're feeling great. Like Tom said, he has no anxiety. Anxiety is something I never really had, so I don't know anything about it. But uh, if people who have anxiety say they get off their anxiety meds immediately. People who are depressed, or it makes you wake the fuck up, and it makes you see things that maybe you didn't see. You get out of that fog, and immediately you start to see, like, because people will see it when they start eating it, like, this is the food that we're supposed to eat, and that's what clicks when you go, this is the food we were meant to eat. And your body tells you. The mirror will tell you. I remember, so I started carnivore in November 5th of 2022. My brother Pete came to visit for Thanksgiving. And on Thanksgiving, he comes in, and the first time he sees me, he says, "What the fuck? You lost a ton of weight." I'm like, "Well, you saw a picture of me." He's like, "Over the last 3 weeks, you've lost a ton of weight." And it was just starting carnivore. The mirror will tell you. I miss it always. Yeah, that's awesome, Tom. Yeah, it changes so much stuff for you. And, if you don't want to do it or you're not interested in it or you feel like you know better, stick to what you do. If you want to tell me the carnivore diet's stupid, put it on your channel. Tell me on your channel. Come up with a channel and talk why you think, oh, she's back. And tell me why you think a diet, why your diet is better. Or why you think you have the right diet. I don't care. I won't watch it. I've already done the deep dive. I'm 8.5 months, or 8 months, 2 weeks, yeah, almost 8.5 months into this diet, and there's no going back. Oh, okay. Yeah, to me, there's no going back. It's just eye on the prize. This is just how I eat from now on. I feel like this, and like I said, it's funny because when I go out, like I said, people will, if they don't really know me or they see people that I know that they know, they'll be like, "How old are you?" Like, how do I know this guy that I went to school with? How do I know him? I went to school with him my whole life. They're like, "Oh, you look like you're 10 years younger." Yeah, I mean, I'm basically 15 minutes from downtown Boston. Um, the town that I'm in, there's the main highway. There's a let's see if I can point this way. The main highway over here would be 93. Over here, straight this way, would be 95, and over here is 24. Either way, um, I'm about 15 from downtown Boston, about 30 minutes from downtown Providence. It just so happens that I live in a woodsy neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, totally. Well, especially like I'll stand up. You can see, like, I don't have a stomach anymore. I don't know if you can see. So these are a 32, and I have to wear a belt. Let me pop this up. Oh, yeah. So as you can see, I'm pretty fucking lean, you know. And oh, oh. And like I said about the gym, I mean, most people go in the gym and they train and train and train, and they don't get much results. And the way I train is the old Mike Menser way, which is I tell anyone, you want to spend 15 minutes, you can give me 15 minutes twice in a week into the gym, and I'll get you in the sickest shape of your life. But all you need to give me is 15 minutes twice a week. Because you could sit there and go in the gym and train for an hour a day, and all you're doing is overtraining, exhausting. You're not gonna heal. You're not gonna grow. 15 minutes twice a week, I'll have you growing and in the best shape of your life. And it's all about consistency. You're not gonna see the results in 1 week, but in 6 months you're gonna be like a different person in the mirror. Yeah, I mean, so a lot of people they'll sit there and say like I don't squat anymore. I don't do deadlifts. None of those big heavy movements, mainly because I don't need to hurt my back and I don't need to pull something. So I'm doing isolation movements. I do a lot of extensions. I shouldn't say I do a lot because I don't do a lot, but I do them heavy. I do curls and I'll do calf stuff. And I've told people this a lot of times. A lot of people tell me, oh, when they walk, that's exercise for them and they lose weight because they're walking. Yes and no. You're not losing weight because you're walking, but you are losing weight because you're walking. And what I mean by that is we are really not a calorie in, calorie out. That's not how it works. Uh, Let me see. I missed the other thing. My favorite shoes for the gym. I wear. Sauconys, and I wear the wides because they're really narrow shoes, but the wides fit me perfect. Otherwise, I wear Reeboks. So right now I'm in sliders, Under Armour sliders. And but anyways, the thing about walking is we are not really a calorie in, calorie out. That's not how the body works. So you could go and you could walk, and you'll find this out. If you're down and you get your weight down and you're looking to lose weight, you can walk all you want, and your weight's not going to come off that great from just walking. But it will help. But the reason why it works is because your calf muscle is constantly flexing when you walk. And in the soleus muscle, it has a hormone effect on your insulin. And so if you can't go out and walk, I tell everybody, go to a stair in your house on the steps, go up one step, put your feet half off, and do calf raises like this, like calf up and downs for 10. It'll have the same effect, especially if you do this after you eat. It'll have the same effect as walking because you're basically making the hormone, your insulin response lower. And insulin's job in the body is to take the fat and the sugar and store it as fat. And as long as you don't produce insulin, you can't get fat. You'll only lose weight. That's why I tell you, I eat 3,000 calories. I'm telling you right now today. Hey, Hugh, have a great day. Have a good gig, man. Yeah, but I'm telling you, the reason why it's effective is not because of the actual walk. It's not the calories of the walk, but it is actually the hormone stifling quality of it. Hey, Janice. Hey, folks, that's my own theory. But which is why I tell people if you're going to walk on a treadmill, walk at a very high incline, because that'll actually get you more of your soleus muscle working, as opposed to just walking on a flat surface. So if you walk uphill on a treadmill, your soleus is really soleus, I forget how you pronounce the fucking thing. It doesn't matter. You understand what I'm saying. But the way to get stronger, I think I saw Joe Harvey say this. He wants to get stronger. The way to get stronger is to not overtrain and push yourself to failure on a set. So, like, let's say you wanted to work on your bench. Go into the gym, do 10, whatever the heavy reps is going to be for a pec deck. This fly, you want to get 10 of them. But you don't want to be able to get much more than that, so put the weight up. Then you're going to go to the Smith machine, incline, close grip, and you're going to get 3 of them. As heavy as you can, as heavy as it will to do 3 where you barely can't get any more. And then you're done with chest. Then you can go do 2 back exercises. But you won't be doing chest for another week. And every time you go to do chest, you'll be stronger. Has more to do with the recovery time and the making sure that that you're breaking down what needs to be broken down, and absolutely not overtraining. So many people overtrain, and then they're like, well, I see all these pro bodybuilders. Those guys are all on steroids. And with steroids, they have not only great recovery, they can sit there and hammer the muscle down. It's going to take them a little longer. But still, they're not growing as the speed that they should be. And like I said, all you have to look at is Dorian Yates, because Dorian was a guy who would do legs and take 2 days off afterwards. 2 days off after whatever body part. Listen to Dorian, and Dorian was fucking huge. Dorian couldn't be beat even with a torn bicep because his back was so fucking huge. And Dorian will tell you, fucking lift heavy, lift to failure, focus on lifting to failure, and get the fuck out of the gym. You should not be there all day. People that go there all day, it's a social thing. They go in there. And when I'm there longer than when I need to be, mainly it's because people are talking to me. And I'm okay with that. But as long as my workout lasts 20 minutes from the time I start doing my first exercises till I'm done, 20 minutes. Yeah, Dorian's great. Dorian talks a lot about Mensa. He really, yeah. But it's not about doing burnouts. It's about listen to the amount of sets I'm saying to do. You do a warm-up set, and then you do 10 reps on the pec deck. You do a warm-up set with the Smith machine, and then 3 reps, and then you're done. That's not burning out. That's that's lifting as heavy as possible, getting all the fibers to get in there, and then letting yourself grow. And I would suggest just either read Heavy Duty or follow Mike Mensa. That guy was amazing, amazing. If you're going to look at the pro guys, I could tell you that Ronnie Coleman was like 225, 220 when I knew Ronnie, when I first met Ronnie in 96. And Ronnie had just lost to Flex Wheeler at the Arnold Classic, I believe. And Ronnie had said something to me about that he needs to put on 30 to 50 pounds more muscle to beat Flex. And Ronnie came back the next year and put that muscle on and was unstoppable. He was huge. Now, could he have done it without the gas? Of course not. Of course not. And so I always tell people, don't compare yourself to competitive people that are in the field to compete, because that's what they're doing with their life. They're competing. And it does come with a toll, because I don't think that steroids are all that bad for you, but I do believe they're all that bad for you when you take them at the level that these guys are taking them at. But Mike Mensa does this whole thing where he talks about how much muscle you'll grow, and if you took this much of a cycle, how much you would grow. And he's like, if you're not competing, don't even bother. It's not worth it. Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, heavy is a relative word. You know what I mean? Because if 225 is heavy for you for 3, then 225 is heavy to 3. Back in my 40s, I was benching 365 for 6. That was heavy. I can't do that now. I'd like to get back up to that weight, but I don't see it. And it's one of those things. Does it mess with my mind? Yeah, because I used to be a lot stronger. I mean, right now I'm curling 65-pound dumbbells, and I used to do 70s. So in the arms, I'm not that bad, and which is probably why my arms grew back so fast. Chest, it's not happening. I don't know what it is. Shoulders, I'm pretty much there, but I try to train lighter and more focused, but still to failure. And again, I'm not spending all day in the fucking gym. Oh, you weighed 225. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, it's all good. I must have misread it. But like anything else, it's all about consistency. It's consistency, discipline. You focus on it, you just do it. And I don't think, and this is what's crazy, when people say like, I don't have time to go to the gym. You don't have 15 minutes twice a week? 15 minutes twice a week. You don't have that to improve your health and the way you feel? All right, well, feel like shit. I don't care. Oh, nice, Janice. Yeah. Oh, I think right now at my weight, this is the best I've ever looked like naked. With my shirt off, it's the best because I'm so fucking lean right now. And yeah, and it's like I said, if you can spend 15 minutes and like I said, and if you sit there and you're like, oh, you know what, the food is so boring on carnivore, I needed something more exciting. All right. So you enjoy. It would be almost like me saying, would you eat a pizza if I told you I sprinkled rat poison all over it? Well, you're doing it. It's just not rat poison, it's people poison, but you're still doing it. And if you don't see it, I see it. Because I can look at people and see, I look at people now and I'm like, you are in real bad insulin resistance. I can see it all over your face. You can see it, you can see it everywhere. And people have insulin resistance and it's just, they look terrible. And, some people will be like, I got bags under my eyes now. I'm 50. Oh, really? Okay. Because I saw this girl over here, she's 50 and she doesn't have bags under her eyes, and she eats well. She follows a fucking a proper human diet. Well, the thing is, Tom, it doesn't run in your family, because if diabetes ran in your family, it would be type 1 diabetes, which is a pancreatic issue. Type 2 diabetes didn't exist before 1900. So therefore, your family, if you go all the way back, nobody had it. What you have is your family has a propensity to get diabetes because of high omega-6 insulin resistance. That's what your family has. And that's true, but it doesn't run in your family. It's if you're eating poison, it will. Type 1, yes, that is a problem. Type 1 diabetes can be a problem. But if you have, it runs in your family, and you're what, 55 right now, you don't have to worry about it. You're not going to all of a sudden get it. Not likely. It's a pancreatic issue, not a metabolic. $45. Okay, well, and again, it doesn't, like my brother got diabetes at 45, my older brother Pete, and did it have something to do with his diet or something? Who knows? Was it nobody in my family had it. Nobody's ever had it, but he had it. So it doesn't mean anything. You know, when people sit there and say, oh, does your family have heart disease? What do you mean? Has anyone had heart attacks? Well, heart attacks are new since 1912. How come nobody had it before then? But the doctors aren't looking at that. They're looking at, oh, if you had it in your family. And they'll even tell you, oh, it doesn't mean you're going to get it. We just kind of like to know what's going on. You don't know anything what's going on anyway. Because, you know, if it didn't exist in the 1800s, what are we doing to ourselves now that we are now getting it at a rate of 30%? 1 in 3. What are we doing differently? You know, and that's what you can look at. Forget about what your family did. What are you doing differently? And what are we doing differently? We're eating fucking poison. We're eating high omega-6 oils that are not meant for human consumption. It's ridiculous. If you go back and you look at what people were eating in 1908 when there was no type 1 diabetes, I think they're eating 70% of the sugar that people eat today. 70%, and there was no diabetes. Now it's up 30%. Well, I mean, it's up to, it's gone up, let's say it went up 30%. But oils have gone up in a direct line. Dave, what is this? I enjoy your videos. I don't smoke. I play lead guitar. Compound workouts are what we use for isolated muscle mass. Yeah. Oh, I know the theories behind it all. Like I said, I used to be a trainer at Gold's Gym. I did the nutrition at Gold's Gym in Venice. And I've worked out with a lot of different pros and a lot of different trainers. And Mike Mensa is the one who rings out most to me as being the one that I like and agree with. And again, he was the one that trained Dorian from 90, I think starting in 92. And Dorian talks a lot about him too. I mean, obviously, in fact, I think Dorian said he stopped doing squats when he went pro because he was afraid of getting injured, and he never squatted after that. But he squatted up until then. But yeah, I mean, everyone has like I said, if somebody came to me and they said to me, this is the amount of time I have, I can give you 15 minutes twice a week, and you can put me on a diet, I will change their body in 6 months. And by the way, welcome Ian. Good to see you. And you know, it's almost the same thing too when you're talking about working out, because there's lots of different ways to skin a cat. I mean, because some people will say, if you had one guitar, you have to have a Strat. And then a Les Paul guy will say, well, I can get the job done with a Les Paul. And this guy says he can get the job. They're all right. They're all right. You know what I mean? There's many ways you can do it. But yeah, I think in the formative years of when you first start working out, if you're young, you got to get in there and squat. You got to get in there and deadlift. It will build your core. But I believe as you get older, I would say you may want to stay away from it if you don't want to pull something. Or I do much more isolated workouts. Actually, this week I actually did shoulder press, which I usually omit. I try to get it in once a month, shoulder press. Otherwise, I'll just do front laterals, side laterals, and rear delts. I try to hit them isolation-wise, heavy. But I avoid the presses because I also think my chest gets in there in the press. Yeah. Peace right there. What's happening? But yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny. You know, there's so many different things that you can do, and let's also be clear, there are different body types, and different people grow differently for different reasons. Clearly, Arnold Schwarzenegger had a much different physique than Tommy Platz. You know, and clearly they have two different leg workouts. And Arnold used to talk about it all the time, as well as Tom, that one had a fast twitch, one was being basically a slow twitch workout. But there's many things that, you know, each body is going to be different in that respect. When I'm talking about adding the nutrition into it and you're talking about a proper human diet, you will see results happen a lot sooner. Um, there's also other things. I mean, you know, obviously there's benefits to eating sugar when working out because it fills the muscle, but it's not real in my opinion. Hey now, Tim Thomas is here. But either way, like I said, give me 6 months with anybody to follow my plan, and I'll change the way you look in the mirror. And you'll feel better. The diet makes you feel better, that's all I know. It's really, like I said, I keep talking about it because I want people to feel the way I feel. It's fucking great. You know? The hell is that thing? Yeah, I'm in the land of the lost today. I got these fucking giant bugs. I'm waiting for fucking Chaka and the slee stacks to show up any minute. You guys remember Chaka? Phil Paley, I believe his name was. But yeah, anyways, choice is yours. You know, you can live your life how you want to live it. But if you're not happy with your results or how you feel, or you've gone to the doctor, he tells you need to be on a statin and your blood pressure's through the roof, all these things can be corrected. Alrighty. You can heal most of the issues metabolically. Yeah, you want to avoid fentanyl and all that stuff, that's for sure. That is for sure. Hey guys, be sure to hit a like, if you will, on the video if you like what I'm talking about. If you don't like what I'm talking about and it makes you feel insecure about yourself, hit a thumbs down. Yeah. I mean, I'm at the point I don't eat any processed foods, so protein powders and all that stuff, I don't eat any of it. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't do a damn thing. Your body doesn't metabolize it. It uses very little of it. It's not really quality protein for your body. There's more chemicals and shit in it that your body even knows what the hell to do with, and you're better off not eating it at all. You're better off with real food. You know, I always, people always, there's a woman that's on Facebook, hey Maurice, and she posts this thing and it's like a patch on her arm and she's like, this goes into my skin and puts on weight if I need weight, it makes me lose weight if I lose weight. I'm like, you're a mental patient. You don't have the first understanding of the human body. And somebody sold you pills and are continually selling you pills that you're trying to sell through this pyramid marketing. I think the pills are called Thrive. This pyramid marketing scheme where, like, you're going to tell me. There was another one too where she's like, I'm sensitive to caffeine, but this thing's natural and it wakes me up in 15 minutes. I'm like, it ain't waking you up yet because you're still buying this shit. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Multi-level mark. Oh yeah. Anytime I see personal trainers on Facebook that I'm friends with, and they're like hawking some type of protein or some type of supplement to wake yourself up in the morning, I'm just like, this is poison. You're peddling poison to people and telling them, because you're spending all this time in the gym and your life is the gym, that you're peddling this stuff, that this is going to help them. This is not going to help them. This is just more crap with binders in it and toxins in it that is doing absolutely nothing for their health. And people say to me all the time, like, oh, what do you get out of me doing carnivore? How about nothing? I'm not selling you any products. I'm not telling you to use any products. I'm telling you to eat food and go buy it on your own. What do you think? I have money in the fucking beef industry? I don't. I should, but I don't. But I have nothing to gain by telling you what I'm telling you. I am not out here to make a buck on it. I'm not out here to sit there and try to tell you, oh, buy this bacon, but you should buy it through me because I get credit for it. No, that's not what I'm saying. Go to fucking Costco, buy bacon in bulk, and fucking eat bacon every day. You'll thank me because you're going to feel better. You're not going to thank me because I sold you something and I'm profiting on you selling you fucking smoke and mirrors. Yeah. Yeah, totally, Tom. I'd rather see people get healthy and thank me and be like, dude, like I said, my buddy from New Hampshire, he's like, I'm going to eat like this for the rest of my life. 5 months in, I've never felt better in my life. He already feels all the benefits of it. He's like, you don't need to convince me. He's like, I'm on everything you said that was going to happen has happened. And he's like, and I feel amazing. That's awesome. And that to me is like, I'm glad because that means I'll get to smoke cigars with him more and he'll be in good health. Yeah, you don't need any of those pills are just nonsense. They're just absolute fucking garbage. They make a pill for this, a pill for that. It's nonsense. Absolute. Stop the pills, get your vitamins from food, eat nutrient dense food. Yeah, like I said, Tom, it wakes you up when you start, once you go into ketosis and your brain is now firing on fats instead of sugars. It really wakes you up because you're like, oh, this feels so much better. Like this feels like I haven't been bogged down for 50 years by the poison I've been ingesting. And like I said, it takes time for your body to dump that poison because you've had it in your system and you've been putting it in your system 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, depending on how old you are. And your body is just wearing fucking down. And then look what happens when you start eating better. You feel better. You feel like you're much younger. – 100%. Talk with you 100%. 100%. The singer that plays in AM station, I'm going to see him tonight. He weighed 230, and he went and got his blood checked, and he had pre-diabetes and super high blood pressure. And now I'd say it's been about 2.5 months, maybe 3 months. He's down to 180. His blood pressure is normal, and his blood sugar is normal. And he's back. He feels better than he has. And he's like, and he cheats on his diet. I always say to him, because he apologizes to me for it. I'm like, don't apologize to me. I don't care. You're cheating yourself, not me. I feel fantastic. But Strat Dad, yeah, the guy's name is Dr. Anthony Chafee, Chafee, or it could be two F's also. He's got a great channel. He goes live and talks about carnivore, talks about the benefits of it, talks about he's great, Anthony Chafee. And I also like Dr. Ken Berry, is another good one, MD Ken Berry. And the other guy I like is Sean Baker. Sean Baker's channel's great. I mean, all these guys have great channels. And then you can also look up people who, there's a girl, she's been on carnivore for a year. She was morbidly obese. She had depression. She was on like a ton of medication. She's off everything now. She's not lean yet, but she's way thinner. She feels a million times better, happier, and she's going to continue the diet. And she'll probably end up losing another 50 pounds, and she'll probably get super lean. But she was morbidly obese before. I mean, she weighed probably 380, 5'1". No, I don't know how tall she is, but she was morbidly obese. So this cigar is the J Fuego. It's a cheap cigar called the Origin. I really like it. Smoking it slow. I think when I talk, I smoke slow. I smoke slower. It's a full body. Nice flavor. I got it on Cigar Page. Cigar Page had a deal. It was like 20 cigars for like 35 bucks, and I made out like a bandit. These are great. Yeah. Yeah, there's another guy who's I think he's 3 months now. He's a good channel. He talks about what he's learned through carnivore and the lies that he's been told over the years. And he goes through the same stuff that I'm telling you. Like, he'll tell you that people told him that they couldn't do this and he couldn't cut vegetables. And he's just like, these are all lies. And he's like in the best shape of his life. He feels like he was when he was in high school. He's off his medications. He had sleep apnea. He had depression. All of that's gone. So it's, there's some good channels out there talking about it. Personally, for me, it's been 8.5 months, and I feel great. I feel fantastic. At first, I was a lot weaker in the gym. I will say that when I first started carnivore, I was benching 140-pound dumbbells, and my bench went from 140-pound dumbbells to 100-pound dumbbells. They felt like 100, felt like 140. Now I'm back up to 120s, and I feel like my strength is coming back. And I'm just slowly building my strength back up again. But my strength did get cut down, and so I would say expect that if you're going to start it. Yeah. But yeah, that kind of gets it to your head a little bit if you're really about for me, not so much, because like, even though I was benching 100-pound dumbbells, in the mirror I was looking across was a much more fit guy than the guy that was benching 140s. So I was like, all right, well, I'll take it. Even though it gets inside your head, but then I just keep pushing. I keep pushing heavier. Yeah, now I'm doing like 120s. So this week was medium week, the week that just passed. So I go heavy week, medium week, and light week. And so medium week for me this week, I benched 2 sets of, I did barbell press, which I very rarely do. I did 135s for 10, a set of 10, then 225 for a set of 8. And then I dropped back to 135 to burn out. And I think I got 12 or 13 out of it. And then I did cable flies from the floor, heavy, medium to heavy for like 6 reps. And that was Monday. And then I did sprints. So I'm not so much about the weight anymore as much as how I feel contracting the muscle. There's a great thing with Mike Menser who talks about if you're in this position here, you got the push, focus, hold it, and then bring it back down. So there's really 3 movements in one movement, and you think about it that way. So, so if you're doing reps of 6, you're really doing reps of 18 because you're thinking about it in 3 different moves. And that was a Mensa thing. And so I try to do that heavier. Like I try to do 3s, which is 9s. But just to get the strength up. Yeah. But for the most part, I feel like I've changed my look and the way I look in the gym. And, I post a lot of stuff. If you guys are on my Instagram, I post a lot of the gym pictures from Instagram, like if I'm feeling certainly pumped from the workout. Yeah, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I get asked if I'm in my early 40s. I'm 55, so yeah. And when I was 53, I probably looked 65 because I had the beard and I was fat, just out of shape, not feeling good about myself. And it was a rough couple of years. That was my dad passed, so it was like rough. But now it's like I said, I'm probably around 182, 5'8", and yeah, I feel like I'm strong enough in the gym. I mean, I'm at the point in the gym where there's a couple of guys who are really big, muscular-wise, and they come up and they're asking me what I'm doing, like and contemplating it and asking questions, which I think is cool. Oh yeah, that's right over here. That's Moses. It's in his backyard. Yeah. Yeah, well, that was the goal. So in June of 2021, I decided I needed to get back to my old self and lose weight. And so I did. I went on my regular 5 meals a day diet, working out in the gym. And I mean, let me just tell you, if when people say to me I have discipline, that's where my discipline was because I wasn't losing weight at a fast pace. I was losing it really slowly. I struggled with it the whole way. I was fighting with it. I felt like I was 100 years old. I'm like, oh my God, my body can't lose the weight like it used to. I had a million excuses why, but every day I was going to the gym doing 2 hours of cardio. Nothing was happening. No weight was falling off me. So I was tweaking my diet, and then I started researching some stuff, and then I was like, okay, well, I got to stop this. And then last year in October, I had fully been watching enough medical stuff and had my own type of point of view where I thought carnivore made the most sense and I was going to start it. And so what I did was I started really increasing my fat intake, which went against everything that I've always thought. And I started going really high fat. And in November, by November 5th, my goal was to start December 1st, but by November 4th, I should say, oh no, November 5th was a Friday, I think. I said, whatever that Friday was, the 4th or the 5th, I said to myself, I don't need these carbs anymore. I feel like I'm so full from this fat that I'm going to cut my carbs. And I started, well, then that Saturday. So whatever the date was that Saturday, it might be November 5th. And that was the point. And from November 5th to November 25th, I lost 23 pounds, 24 pounds without trying, just from eating. And my cardio was cut down again. So just from diet, so just from changing the one factor, because I followed this doctor, and well, I read this study that this doctor did about hormone. He had a theory that people said was full of shit, and that mainstream health said was absolutely wrong. So it made me curious to see why they were so angry with him. And I read his thing, and he basically said that gaining weight and losing weight has nothing to do with calorie in, calorie out. It has to do with hormones, and the hormone you have to pay attention to is insulin. So if you can cut your protein, if you could cut your food to just eating proteins with fats, you will suppress your insulin, so your body has to lose weight. And he put these people on 3,000 calorie diets, and they were losing weight, and they were obese and not working out. So by November 5th, I said I'm going to try it, and like I said, it worked immediately. I mean, it wasn't even funny. It was like by January of 2022, I was already 185 pounds, 182 actually. Yeah, it just came right off me. And I was stuffed, and I was eating food where I was like, oh my God, I'm so full. Like before, I was always hungry. And every time when I was doing 5 meals a day, I was starving, going to bed hungry. But the discipline was, you got to keep doing this. You got to get to your goal. The goal is the prize. And I couldn't, and weight wasn't. So I went and did the research and found out what's not working. Why is it not working? This is what I've been taught my whole life. I used to do nutrition with Gold's Gym. We used to do the IntraFit, and we've done the whole how much carbs you need to have, what the ratio of eating lean meats. And then I said, okay, I'm going to eat the fattiest meats. I'm going to increase my fat to this fucking moon, and I'm not going to worry about protein, and I'm going to cut my carbs to nothing. And literally, I've never felt better. It was like by week 2, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is awesome. I remember my brother came into town. We went to dinner at Legal Seafood. I ordered a steak, and I told them I wanted a side of bacon. And they were like, do you want any bread? I'm like, no, but bring me the butter. And I sat there and ate butter pads while everyone was eating bread. Then my steak came, it was steak and bacon. And then I went home and had a slice of, no, then I came home and I had I made my brother and I a cup of bulletproof coffee, which is coffee with butter. And I'll tell you, the feeling you get is amazing. The weight falls off me. And yeah, I don't even consider myself on a diet anymore. This is just what I eat, and I don't count calories. If somebody sat there and was like, hey, do you want to eat this fucking eight ounce ribeye? I'll eat it. And if I'm still hungry, I'll eat something else. I'll sit and eat a stick of butter if I have to. I love it. I take pork rinds and slide it on the butter and eat them. Awesome. Till I'm full. And then when I'm full, I stop eating. And then I don't eat till the next day. But the weight falls off you. I mean, let me tell you, everything has to do with your liver. Your liver controls everything with your metabolic shit, which is one of the things why I'm against drinking, because drinking really hinders the liver. But the liver does everything. Your cholesterol, it brings the cholesterol in, it sends out the LDL, it takes the HDL in, it does everything. It helps with the gallbladder to produce bile, to break down fats. It's it should be the most coveted organ in your body that you need to take it. It has everything to do with your heart. People sit there and go, oh, you got to take care of your heart. You want to take care of your heart? Take care of your liver. Don't put all this fucking toxic food, these processed foods, anything that has oil, sunflower, canola, rapeseed, any of the oils, all garbage, all poison for your liver. And drink lemon water, because lemon water pures out your liver. Just buy lemon juice, add it to your water, or splash into your water, you'll clear out your liver. But your liver is the most important thing. You know? And if you have to drink because you have zero discipline, or for whatever reason, stick to your alcohols, to pure sugar alcohol, which would be any of the hard liquors. Don't be drinking beer or anything that has real sugar in it. Too hard on the body. personally, I'm against it anyways. I just think that you got to learn to like yourself, put the bottle down, and move on. Because I see a lot of times in my chats, like, when I do my live shows and people like, oh, I'm here with a beer. I just cracked open a beer. Like, I'm just like, so what? Like, you're sitting around on a Wednesday night drinking beer, watching my show. You might want to sit there and think about your life. I would. I don't know that I would watch my show. I mean, I find myself entertaining. Thank you. I love Joe. I love the conversations we have. I think it's fun. And but yeah, I just wouldn't be sitting around drinking, watching TV. I don't know. I mean, that's like a lack of discipline, which I don't have respect for, really. I got to tell you. I don't. Which is why I laugh when I see people that say, I could never do that. I'm just like, okay, don't do it then. What do I give a shit? Which is probably why I have so many haters. You know what I mean? Uh, Everett, let me teach you one thing before you start anything. Let me teach you something. You never say I'm going to try. You just say I'm going to do. There's no trying. You just do it. If you say I'm going to try, you're telling the universe that you're going to fail. If you say I'm going to do, you're telling the universe and yourself that you're going to do it. So never say I'm going to try. I'm going to do it. That's what you say. Now try it again, Everett. There you go, Everett. Yes. Yeah. Let me tell you, I've had a complete life change about my thought process of the universe and everything because I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, I used to be an atheist, I should say. And I guess I would say I'm more of an agnostic, but I don't even know if there's anything or are we living in a simulation. But I do think the universe listens. And things that you do for yourself, you got to do. And it's like anytime I've had success in anything, it's been because of consistency and drive. It's a discipline that you just keep doing it. When you see like, uh, when you go out there and you put yourself out there that you can't fail and you don't want to fail and you're going to keep pushing no matter what, you'll do it. You just have to do it. Maybe you won't do exactly what you set out to do, but you'll find a different thing to do that you wanted to do that it was really your calling. You never know. But consistency, and you just got to do it. And make sure you put it out there to the universe that you're going to do it. Hey, Janice. Yeah. And as Joe Rogan said on one of the memes I saw, he says, yeah, motivation, fuck your motivation. Motivation means nothing. Anyone can be motivated for 5 minutes. That takes absolutely little to nothing. No effort. Any lazy fuck can be motivated for a second. It's having the discipline to say, you know what, I'm going to do this. And this is something I'm going to succeed in. And it's going to get done. And you just do it. That's what my mentality was when I started my diet and anyone that knows me, that knows when I diet, I'm always like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I don't say I'm going to try to lose weight. No, I'm losing weight. I'm going to get back into shape. I do it. You just fucking do it. You don't take no for an answer. I'm going to do it. And you fucking do it. You just do it, right? Nike. Yeah. Every day above ground's a great day. Now, does that mean that when we die, it's all over? Who knows? It could just be the new beginning. I have no idea. I don't know. But as long as I'm here, I'm going to feed the body that I've got what it's supposed to be fed. and live a positive life. Just do fucking what things that I enjoy that make me happy. And go out there and fucking crush it. Get her done. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like the same thing. Like when I was in high school, I had a music teacher in high school, and I asked him a question about music theory, and he answered me, and it wasn't to my satisfaction. And I let him know because I was a cocky douchebag, but I was right. I was like, that's not a fucking answer to me, and I don't appreciate that answer, and it's not right. So I want to know why. And he got fucking livid at me. He liked me because I was one of his better students, but he was pissed. He was like, I don't want you asking any more fucking questions in this class regarding theory. You're way ahead of everybody else, and it's not really the way we teach music. And I was like, fuck you. I'm going to go learn it on my own. So I did. And I went and used to take the train in my senior year of high school. I used to take the commuter rail into Boston. I'd go to the Berklee School of Music, and I'd go thumb through their fucking theory books and pick up a theory book here and there. And sometimes I would look at it and I would say, okay, here's what I don't like about this theory book, but at least I can learn about this like this. And so I learned to look at music the way that I look at it, which is why I teach it on my channel the way that I look at it, because I feel like the way I look at it is the way that a lot of people look at it, that either don't go through schools or that even if they went to school, they have a different look at music this way. And it's hard for me to go into it without, oh, okay, sorry, something happened. But, if you think about it, like, so like one of the, I can even tell you what we talked about. He wanted to know why, what C minor and C major, what the differences were. And he wanted to hear that the flat third, flat six, and flat seven. And I'm like, yeah, but even though that's the difference, really you should be teaching C minor as the key of E flat because it's just E flat starting on the sixth. And he goes, yeah, it's starting on the sixth, but I want you to know the difference between the C major and the C minor. I said, well, it's obvious what the difference is because you should just ask what's the difference between E flat and C, especially since you're teaching a class where you're trying to teach people the circle of fifths. And I got fucking irritated because I'm like, you're not letting people get to that level of where they can understand that C minor is the sixth to E flat and that we're looking at the difference. The difference is E flat has three flats. And more importantly, a quick way to understand things is that not only is E flat three flats, the three flats are E flat A and B. And if we move everything up a half step, we're in the key of E major. And now E, A, and B are natural. And everything, the four natural notes that were in the key of E flat are now sharp. That's something that I think is far more interesting and helpful to a guitar player or a musician than sitting there and telling me what's the difference between C and E flat major. Is letting somebody know that, wait a second, we could take a look at the key of E flat and see three flats and four naturals. And if we slide everything up a half, we have three naturals and four sharps. Now there's a greater understanding of what's going on, in my opinion. And so that was kind of like where my music teacher and I parted ways in that respect. We always was, we remained friends till the day I graduated, and he always liked me, but we did not see eye to eye on how to convey music theory or how to think of it. And he was looking at it from a classically trained guy. He hated jazz too, so he was like, he would make comments about hating the dominant seven chords and pop music that focused mainly around dominant sevens. He hated it. And he was like, it doesn't sound right to me, whatever. It was just, him and I had a difference of opinion of how to, and he was the teacher, so I guess I was wrong. But that's what drove me to be like, I'm going to become very well versed in theory, even though I never went to school for it. And then when I went to LA and started working, doing session work, it was a breeze. It was everything I understood. It was a couple of things I picked up on the way that I didn't know in notation, whatever. And then when I first got a look at a Nashville chart, I'm like, this is how I would do it. Like, I didn't make this up. They were like, yeah, this has been around since the 1950s. It's called the Nashville number chart. I'm like, this is how I write stuff. Now, there was a couple of things different. Clearly they would put a diamond over stuff they wanted you to hold, and just the way they separated the bars and everything else. I was probably writing it a little bit more like a cross between a Nashville chart and a standard chart. But it took me 2 seconds to look at a Nashville chart and understand it, because it was so close to what I thought I had created. So in that way, I learned it the long way because I did it my own way first. But Nashville is yeah. The Nashville chart's a great way to do it. It's a great way. Sometimes, occasionally, I'll write when I have to write charts for Jimmy in AM station. I'll write him a chart. Occasionally, I'll write a Nashville chart, but we have to go over it. Because he's not used to Nashville charts, and he's a Berkeley guy. He's used to standardized charts. So most of the time I'll write him a standard chart, but occasionally if I'm feeling lazy and I'm doing it off the top of my head, it's easier for me to write it out as a number chart because then I'm not thinking about it. And also, I don't know what key we're going to end up doing it in. And if he's playing piano on the song, it might differ because if he says, hey, I'd like this to go up a half step, if we play something on the second fret capo and he's like, it's easier for me to sing third fret, then I'm glad I did not write a chord chart. I wrote a number chart because then we could just change it and we know we're in, B flat or E flat as opposed to D and A. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the whole point of the Nashville chart was they could write out a chart for a session and, use that chart for three different takes on the song. If those guys were doing the same song, they could pick whatever key the singer wanted to come in and do it at. So that was the point of it, was that the key is not set in stone. Depending on who wanted to use the chart, it's the same chart. We just pick a different key. So, but my point about the whole thing about getting into this was my drive that I wanted to do it. And so little by little every day, I would try to teach myself something about theory. And to this day, I'm 55 now. I've been playing music. I started piano when I was probably 7. So I've been playing music since, almost 50 years, 48 years playing music. I played trumpet when I was little also. So playing music 48 years, and you still learn shit every... Oh, I missed what you said. I learned the circle of fifths from you. I love it. Oh, thanks, HK. Yeah, so it's like little by little, I still learn stuff every day. I could tell you last week, one of the things that was big for me this week was thinking of scales in sixes as opposed to sevens and losing a note. So whether you're playing the Dorian scale, which I like to call the 2 minor scale, or whether you're playing a 6 minor scale, or whether you're playing the altered scale, you could take a note out of it and play it in sixes. And really that has a lot to do with Alan Holdsworth, which Alan Holdsworth used to do, which I recently found out that he would take scales and drop a note, and therefore he could play 3 notes a string. And, if you're playing the altered scale and you're starting on E, you're playing, like, let's say you're playing E altered and you're starting on the first fret for an F, you would have F, G, A flat, B flat. He would play F, A flat, B flat, or F, G, B flat. And then you would just move up half a step and play the next. Oh no, with the altered you would have to B flat. Then you would go up to this, to the B. No, to the C. I'm thinking diminished. Sorry, the double diminished is what Alan played. The double diminished, where he's pulling out notes, very similar to the altered, but the natural 5 is in the altered is raised, and there's a 5/6 in the double diminished. But anyways, that's getting way too much into it. As much as I'm saying, take small bites, learn something. Say to yourself, hey, this week I'm going to learn, I'm going to take on the circle of fifths, and I'm going to learn the first 3 keys. And the next week you're doing the next three keys. And you just do it. And it's the discipline and the constant doing it that's going to make it so it sticks in and becomes part of your playing. You know, there seems to be today so much more interest in the actual sound and pedals used and all this, where I enjoy getting involved in pedals, but I don't get involved into the part of where I'm like, oh, I like, which is why I can't watch Mick and Dan anymore, because I just feel like they get way too involved in the minutia. And it's like, well, to me, like when you compare, like they love comparing the Tube Screamer, which they love, to other pedals. And, you know, the Tube Screamer, they're like, oh, well, this one has far more gain than the Tube Screamer, so turn the gain down. You can get the gain almost out of the SD, the Boss SD1, but the Boss SD1 doesn't have that compression. So if you're playing a clean amp and you want to add a little compression to the sound, either use a compressor in a pedal or just use the Tube Screamer. Tube Screamer has a great amount of compression. That's about it. They sit there and say, oh, listen how this rolls off and that. Yeah, that's compression. Yeah, we get it. It has more compression. But, you know, if you're playing like Nashville stuff or you're doing country stuff, you don't want that compression, which is why the Noble's ODR1 is a far better pedal for country playing than the Tube Screamer, because it doesn't have that compression that that kills the highs that you kind of want in that chicken picking sound. The Noble's ODR1 just happens to have that great sound. But again, if you get a guy like Brent Mason playing a Tube Screamer instead of an ODR1, are you going to sit there and complain? No. As a player, he may like it better, the ODR1, if he was to try it. But as the listener, for the most part, if it's a great player, who cares? Like, we don't sit there and say, like, I mean, look at all the records the Beatles sold. I don't sit there and listen to a Beatles record and have ever said, I want to get that guitar tone. I've never in my life have I listened to a Beatles record thinking about a guitar tone. But I've listened to Scorpions and listened to a song like Drifting Sun, and I love the sound of Uli's Strat through that Marshall. Like, that's a tone. I'm like, ooh, I like that Marshall tone. It doesn't sell any records, so really, I mean, it comes down to whatever the player and the song is all about. That's the most important thing. Song is number one. Song is number one. What do you call music theory? Would teach me how different type of chords fit together, like sus chords and sevens and nine mixed in minor and major. Yeah, I mean, again, when you're playing that type of thing, you really just have to know what the chord's purpose in the song is. You know, if you're playing a minor seven chord and the chord doesn't change for 8 bars, well, before you get to the end of, before you get to the end of each bar, you can treat the chord like a seven, like a 5 chord dominant 7. So if you're playing a D minor 7, you could play an A7 type of phrase over it, because that will reintroduce the new sound of the 1 when you get down to the 1 again. So it doesn't really matter what the chords do, because you could do it yourself. And there's a lot of guys that teach that stuff. It's really prominent in jazz. As much as that's, I mean, if you hear that sound and you're interested in that sound, then you would chase it. But if it doesn't interest you, you know, a lot of guys listening to AC/DC, then when you play, you're going to have that sense, that musical sense. You know, like if you listen to a lot of Billy Gibbons and ZZ Top, when you play, if you get yourself a more aggressive sound, you're going to sound like Van Halen, because Van Halen to me sounds like Billy Gibbons with a more aggressive sound. It's that same, and you can hear, and I heard it when I was a kid. I mean, I was 16 years old, and 1984 came out, and Drop Dead Legs, the solo he plays, and I'm like, oh, he sounds like Holdsworth here. It sounds like he's been listening to Alan Holdsworth, and he was. And you can go back and listen to Drop Dead Legs and that fade out solo, and that sounds like Eddie. You know, Eddie basically figured out how to do with shapes what Alan does musically. How do you know the three options for resolving the tension of an A7 chord? How do you know the three options? The option is up to you. You have to understand that if you're resolving an A7 chord and you're coming back into a D or a D minor, um, that tension is up to you. That's what makes the player sound like the player. So you've got guys like Scott Henderson who will play, let's say, the A diminished scale, but starting from the whole half. So he'll play it like, or, let's see, yeah. Or you could play the double diminished scale, starting with A with the flat nine, the sharp nine. You could play that. You could play the altered scale. Anything that's going to add tension is going to add tension. To me, I would listen, like if somewhere in the song there's on that A7 chord that there's a strong five in the chord, like you can hear the five in the chord, because a lot of times when you hear an A7, you don't hear the five so much. But if you can hear the five, then maybe you'd want to play the double diminished scale because that has a natural five, whereas the altered has a flat and a raised five, so there's no getting around it. But if, let's say, the A7 was a sharp five, sharp nine, flat seven, you would call it a seven sharp five flat, a sharp five sharp nine. You would approach it with an altered scale. It's really knowing the notes, and then you get to the point where it's like for me when I play altered, I'm basically just thinking one with a flat nine, sharp nine, flat five, sharp five, flat a major third, and a flat seven. So I'm thinking of what they are, but it's really up to you. You can't really play something wrong. Yeah, I remember Holdsworth when I was a kid because I read about him in guitar magazines, and then so I went and found him out. The IOU album or Road Games, and even before that, I think there was a band called Gong. But yeah, it's really you can't really go wrong. So like that's why I say like if you looked at Van Halen, Eddie, let's just say if Eddie were to try to simulate a jazz sound, he could play, he plays patterns. So if you look at the pattern, like a 1-2-4 pattern, you guys know what 1-2-4 is? If we're on the fourth fret, we would be 4-5-7, 4-5. So you go, if you're on the fourth string, 4-5-7 against an A7 would be 6 flat 7 1. The next string would be 9 sharp 9 11. The next string would be flat 5 5 6, and the next string would be major 7 1 9. All kinds of tensions, but if you played that over an A7 fast like Eddie going ba 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 ba, it would sound awesome because as long as you know to land on the one of the notes that's in the chord, which at that point would be the A. So if you went like ba 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 and landed on the A, you'd be all right. Now you could take the same scale and the same Eddie thing and start it on the fifth fret. And so from the fifth fret, you would have the flat 7, the major 7, the flat 9, the sharp 9, the major third, the flat 5, the 5, the sharp, you can call it a flat 6 or the flat 13, the flat 7, the 1, the flat 9, and the sharp 9. And then you could slide that one up to the C sharp, and you'd be landing on the major third of the A7, again, landing on the root. So you'd be like, oh, you actually want to land on whatever the note would be below, so you could go up to the whole step of the D, which would land on the D. But again, you'd be going, doing the same pattern. There is no right or wrong. Playing outside and playing these odd things against a 7 chord, almost everything's acceptable. It really depends on how you land. And I think that's what Eddie figured out by the time he did 1984. Although he was kind of doing it already, but he was doing it where it didn't sound as jazzy, and then he figured out how to make it sound jazzy. But I believe that, it's really up to you. There is no right or wrong. I mean, you can watch all kinds of jazz pianist guys, and they'll sit there and show you, here's how Bill Evans would approach this chord progression. Here's how McCoy Tyner would approach this, or here's how Oscar Peterson would. they all have a different way to approach it, and they're all different, utilizing different scales, and they're all right. And each one sounds like that person. You know what I mean? So, what time is it? 5:41. All right. Yeah. But there's many ways to get around it because, like I said, when I sit there and work out altered stuff, sometimes I'm like, wow, this run is really close to just playing it up a pattern. And sometimes playing it up the pattern even sounds better. It sounds more organic. Um, so yeah. But yeah, it's 5:40. I think my car is already packed. And I get to veg out for like an hour and a half and watch some TV and relax. Hey, listen, I hope this video was helpful to anybody who's interested in changing their diet, changing the way they look at guitar and practice. If you can, hit a like on this video. That would appreciate that. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I'm getting close to 23,000. 542, thanks. Yes, 542. I have a gig tonight. I'll be playing 9 to midnight. And then next Saturday, again, let me just tell you, my next Saturday gig is going to be live. I'll film that party live. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I'm going to watch the shows from the other night. Take care, guys. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. And as always, very good.